Hello students, I Kamlesh Kumar. Welcome to all of you at my YouTube channel Social Science Academy. In the previous video, we saw the impact of colonialism on the rural societies, mainly on the peasants. Now in this video, we are going to see the impact of colonialism on the tribal societies. So let us see. The profitable exploitation of peasants made British greedier. Their next target was tribals of India who lived in deep forests and led a life of self-sufficiency. Their traditional economy was built around forest. They firmly believed that the forest belonged to them and they belonged to the forest. So what happened? Before the arrival of the Britishers, the tribals were living a self-sufficient life. Means they were living a very happy life, self-sufficient life on the products of the forest, and they were deeply associated, they were deeply related, they were deeply associated with the forest and the forest products. So most tribals like Khons of Orissa practice shifting cultivation. Many tribal groups like Van Gujars of Himalayas, Gaddis of Kullu, etc. lived by herding and rearing of animals. So amongst the Mundas of Chota Nagpur, the land belonged to the clans as a whole and members had equal rights on the land. So let us see these names of the tribes and their location. You will have to remember because it can be asked in the examination that Khons tribe belong to which state. Likewise, Van Gujars belong to which state, Gaddis belong to which state. So you will have to, these are the important facts which have to know. Now let us see the shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation is a type of traditional way of cultivation in which the people do cultivation at a particular place and gradually the soil lose its fertility. They simply burn all the vegetation over there and they move to another areas for the cultivation. So that is called shifting cultivation. So it was very popular way of cultivation amongst the tribes. So it was the traditional way of cultivation amongst the tribal people. Likewise, Van Gujars of Himalayas and Gaddis, they were having the tradition of herding and rearing of animals, means they domesticated animals and they lived in the herds. So amongst the Mundas of the Chota Nagpur means the state of Jharkhand. So Mundas are the tribes of Jharkhand. The land belonged to the clan. Clan means a dynasty. So whole village or community we can say. So the land belonged to whole community and all the members had equal rights on the land. So these were the various traditions amongst the tribal groups. And what happened? The Britishers when arrived, they interfered in the traditional ways of lives in these tribals, and it deeply hampered the sentiments, deeply hurted the sentiments of the tribal groups, and gradually it caused for the revolt by the various tribal groups. So let us see impact on the tribal life. Almost every tribe had a tribal chief, but under the British rule, the chiefs lost all powers and were forced to follow the laws made by the British officers in India. But the Britishers did not want shifting cultivation because it was difficult to control the movement of the tribals. So, but the tribals wanted to continue shifting cultivation. The changes made in the forest laws by the British made the tribal life very difficult. So most of the forests were declared as state property, especially the reserve forest which produced timber. Many tribals had to move to other areas in search of livelihood. This created a shortage of laborers to cut trees for the railways, sleepers and transport logs. So what happened after the arrivals of the Britishers? There was a tradition of having a chief of tribes. So when the Britishers arrived in India, the tribal chiefs lost their powers, and he or she became a common man. So it was another way of intervention in the lives of the tribals. Now let us see what happened in the 19th century. During the 19th century, when the demand for the forest produce increased, the traders and the moneylenders took advantage of these situations. So they went to the tribals and offered them cash loans. They also asked them to work for wages. It led to further misery of the tribals. So what happened in the 19th century? When the demand for the forest produce increased. So demand for the forest products increased in India as well as in Europe. So to meet the demand, to fulfill this demand, the Britishers forced the tribals to produce more forest products, so it can be the need can be fulfilled, and they can earn huge money, they can earn huge profit from these products. And it caused misery for the tribals. It caused simply you can say that the gradually tribals became poor, and due to exploitation of the Britishers. Now let us move to the another paragraph. Let us take the case of Santhals of Hazaribagh. Hazaribagh in Jharkhand state. So Santhal is a tribe over there. So Santhal tribe on the border of this Jharkhand in West Bengal, who reared silkworms for the production of cocoons. Means it is a great demanding product in Europe, silk. So when the demand for the Indian silk increased, efforts were made to encourage silk production. So Indian silk was in great demand in Europe, and these Britishers forced the Indians to produce silk in the Indian market to fulfill the demand of European market, and there was opportunity to earn huge profit. Now let us see next. The traders, their agents, and many middlemen approached the growers. They gave them cash loans and collected cocoons from them. You will be surprised to know that they just paid rupees 3 for 100 cocoons and then sold them at 5 times more. When the tribal groups came to know the reality, they were shocked and started considering the traders as their enemy. So what happened? That the Britishers, the British traders purchased cocoons at very cheap rate. Let's see example here. 100 units of cocoons by paying just 3 rupees, and they were earning 15 rupees on the same unit. So it was almost 5 times greater than the purchasing. So it was giving a huge profit to the traders and the moneylenders. When gradually the tribal people came to know their exploitation, the way of exploitation, and it caused enmity amongst the these traders and the tribals. Many tribals had to leave their forest homes in search of work. A large number of them were recruited through contractors to work in the tea plantation in far off areas of Assam. So they were paid low wages and were not allowed to go back home. The plight of the coal mine workers was no less miserable. Many tribals were also recruited in factories and fields to work under harsh conditions. So gradually what happened? The forest people lost their rights on the forest, and now a contractors group emerged in between the situation, and they started to recruit these landless, these lost rights tribals for the plantations in Assam. And what was their condition? That once they will be recruited, they will not go back to their home without the permission of the contractor. So it was another way of exploitation. And In this way, the exploitation continues, and gradually it augmented the dissatisfaction among the tribal group. Now, let us see various tribal revolts. So, the commercialization of agriculture and exploitation of forest wealth made many tribals homeless and jobless. Commercialization of agriculture means before the arrival of the Britishers, the Indian farmers and the tribes were practicing the agriculture for their family needs and just for the survival. Now, on the same land, the Britishers, the traders forced them to produce commercial crops so that they can earn huge profit by selling it in the market. So the unjust policies of the British resulted in rebellions by the tribals in different parts of India. So there is some limitations, some limit for the toleration. Once you will be continuously tortured, you will be continuously exploited by some people. The day will come when the limit of toleration will cross and you will rebel, and that was the same situation with the tribals as well as the farmers. So revolts by Khasi. Khasi is a tribe who lived in the Khasi hills, Garo Khasi Jaintia hill in current state of Meghalaya, but at that time northwest Assam was the habitation of this Khasi tribes. So the Khasi rebellion or revolt took place in 1829. The construction of road through their land united many Khasi chiefs against the English and under the leadership of Bar Manik and Tirat Singh. So the British suppressed their rebellion brutally. So you will have to remember some facts here for the examination point of view, that where did this Khasi revolt happen? In northwest Assam, the first fact. Second is, in which year this Khasi revolt happened? In 1829. Who were the leaders? Bar Manik and Tirat Singh. What were the reason for the revolt of Khasis? Construction of road through their land. So these were the causes for the Khasi rebellion. You will have to remember. Now let us move to the next page. That is page number 116. This is page number 116. Page number 117. Let us move. Wait for a minute. Now let us see the map and location. This is very, very important for the examination point of view. You will have to remember the location. This Kukis in Manipur, Khasi in Assam. Now this is the region of Meghalaya. So Santhals and Mundas in Jharkhand, Khonds in Odisha, and this Gaddis in Himachal Pradesh, one Gujars in Jammu Kashmir. Now let us move to the next page, that is page number 118. Rest of the tribal revolts are there. So let us see. Now let us see the Kukis of hilly regions of Manipur continued attacking the British territories from 1829. So, but they were forced to surrender in 1850. So, Kukis revolt in Manipur, and they were continuously fighting with the Britishers from 1829, and finally they surrendered in 1850. The Khonds of Kondmals or near Odisha revolted against the British in 1846 due to fear of being annexed. Annexed means to establish whole control, by to merge it with the British state. So they were fearing that this Khonds tribal area will be merged with the British state, and they revolted against it in 1946, but they could not stand before the might of Britishers, because Britishers were having a powerful army and it was easily suppressed. Now very, very important revolt, tribal revolt is Santhals. The Santhals found themselves quite helpless against the ruthless exploitation and oppression of the traders and middlemen. So in the Santhal areas, the main reason of the revolt were exploitation by traders as well as middlemen. They were expecting the British government to safeguard their interest. But what happened? When nothing was done, they revolted against the British in 1855 and 1856 under the leadership of Sidhu and Kanhu Murmu. So you will have to remember these facts, in which year this Santhal rebellion happened, 1855-56, under whose leadership? Sidhu and Kanhu. So you can be asked in examination who were the leaders of Santhal rebellion. So these were the Santhal and Sidhu and Kanhu Murmu were the leader of Santhal rebellion. Now let us move to the Mundas of Chota Nagpur. Mundas of Chota Nagpur, joined by the Kolarian tribe of the same region, revolted in 1831. So these Mundas and Kolar are the another group of tribes who revolted in 1831 in the Chota Nagpur, or today's Jharkhand state. So the struggle was suppressed by the British forces, but the exploitation by the merchants and money lenders continued. So they revolted, and this is the Birsa Munda, who was a very popular leader amongst the Munda tribe. So in 1895, Birsa Munda, a young boy, emerged as a hero of this tribal group, that is Munda tribe. He urged them to continue to work on their own land to earn their living and not to move away. So this would end all their suffering. So what he called Birsa Munda, to attach with their own land, not to go to serve anywhere. As the Birsa Munda spread, the popularity of Birsa Munda also increased. He told his people and land policies of the British were destroying their traditional land system. So Birsa was jailed for 2 years, but on his release, he instigated the tribals to attack zamindars. Instigated means he convinced the tribal group of his community to attack on the zamindars. He raised the white flag as a symbol of Birsa Raj. So very important. You can be asked in the examination who raised the white flag. So it was this Birsa Munda. This movement ended in 1900 with the death of Birsa Munda. So another fact important for examination, in which year Birsa Munda died? In 1900. Now let us see. The name Munda given by the community indicates the name of its leader. The Mundas called themselves Hodoko, meaning human beings. This is very important fact for the examination point of view. In examination directly you can be asked which tribe called themselves as Hodoko. This was the question in the this year 2020 final examination. So you can it has been asked in various internal exam as well as final exam also. So you will have to remember these facts. In next video we will talk about the effects of colonialism on crafts and industries. What we are seeing, effects of colonialism on farmers or peasants or rural societies, effects of colonialism on tribal society we have seen just, and in the next video we will see the effects of colonialism on crafts and industries, how it influenced the craft and industries during the British time. So that's all in this video. In the next video we will discuss about the impact of colonialism on craft and industry. Till then, keep watching. Thanks. Have a nice day. Thank you.